Constipation, what to do, what not to do, how long does it last, when is it considered constipation, why is it so important not to stay constipated for a long period of time. It's a shitty subject, but somebody's got to talk about it. And I am that girl for you today. So you're welcome. We are here and we are talking all things poop. Never in a million years would I have thought that I would be here on the internet in front of Lord knows how many people discussing bowel movements and poop, but yet here we are. So that is how much I love you. Welcome, my friends. I am Cheryl. I have been on a GLP1 lifestyle journey modification for 17 months, losing 70 pounds with the help and assistance of Zepbound, a GLP1 medication. Chances are, if you have stumbled upon this video or if you have been with me for a while, you are either on a weight loss journey or taking a GLP1 or considering taking a GLP1 or maybe in maintenance from a GLP1. So recently we have had a lot of new viewers and subscribers to the channel and a lot of questions about constipation and bowel movement. This is not a video that I ever intended or wanted to put out. However, I do think it's extremely important. Constipation is no joke. It can have serious side effects. So a lot of people recently have asked me, like, what actually is constipation? And I gotta tell you, I was a little unsure when it first happened to me, and it probably started about 6 or 7 months ago when I was about to the end of my first time around with 7.5 milligrams of Zepbound. And I had been great for like 8 or 9 months before it actually like appeared. So that was very strange. So just know that just because you're okay right now on a dose doesn't mean tomorrow. Mine came out of nowhere. I hadn't changed anything. I hadn't changed doses, and then boom, or not so boom, stuck. I became constipated, and I have been kind of dealing with this ever since. So the inability to pass stool, or for it to be painful maybe, is when you're constipated. Basically, if you're, and I've done the research and I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, I talked to my doctor, so I'm not just pulling this out of the air. If you have the inability to pass stool or have a bowel movement less than 3 times in a week, that's considered constipation. So if you're only going to the bathroom like every 3 days or so, that's considered constipation. If you are in the bathroom, for me personally, if I have to be in the bathroom for more than 5 minutes and it takes me that long to actually do what I need to do, it's because I'm constipated. For you, maybe you're a little different, maybe it's 10 minutes. But if you're in the bathroom and you're having to strain and work too hard at it, you're constipated. If your stool has gotten hard and, dry, where it's very difficult to pass, that's constipation. And that's where we have to start figuring out, like, okay, what can I do differently? So first and foremost, before we think about all of the long term, we've got to get the constipation at bay. So everyone's a little different with what they do and what they use. I am going to tell you what has been successful for me. So when I first became constipated, I was very apprehensive to do anything about it. And I want to say I got to day 5 and I started to like really feel unwell. And at that point, I had been complaining about it to the internet and everyone was giving me thoughts and suggestions, and I just wasn't taking the suggestions. So don't be me. Do what I say and do it now. So in the beginning, I tried to just go with a stool softener, and I apparently bought many. So I did stool softeners first. That was to no avail. So just softening the stool did not work for me. Then I went with a I was really scared to take the laxative, but I had this was the first laxative that I had that I used, and it took 2.5 days before it started to work. But as soon as I didn't take it, I was right back in the same situation. So then I was taking this gentle laxative that's kind of like a stimulant and a laxative, like a stool softener in one. This worked, but again, only for a couple of days. I was trying tea. This did not work at all for me. I tried like 2 or 3 different kinds. I had some really sweet friends who were giving me some. So this did not work for me. I do take Benefiber daily regardless. So this puts extra fiber into my diet, and we'll talk more about that. But I do take Benefiber, and I continue to do that then. It wasn't until my best friend Kyla continued to say, you need to start taking Miralax, take Miralax, take Miralax. And I was just not on board with it. In my head, I think because I was thinking Miralax was Metamucil. And I remember Metamucil from way back in the day, trying to like mix it into a glass and like mix it up. And it was just repulsive and I couldn't drink it. That is not the case with Miralax. This is Miralax. So I use Walmart or Target brand. It's cheaper, much, much cheaper, and it's the same. Do not go buy the name brand stuff, guys. So this is Miralax, and I will show you. I'll pour it so you can see. See, it's like a white powder. It's very fine powder. I'll put some in my hand so that you can see it. It's a very fine powder. And I put it in my morning coffee and it dissolves very quickly. I put my morning coffee in, I put a teaspoon of it in, and I mix it up and it dissolves quickly. My doctor told me yesterday I put it in my bottle of water to force myself to drink water because I am dehydrated, which also causes constipation. But I have a hard time drinking a bottle of water. So putting it in here, I'm not gonna get the Miralax. I'm gonna drink my coffee, and I only make a small cup. I put the Miralax in there, and I have been successful. So I have been a couple of days. I just wanted to check to make sure I'm giving you guys the right dosage on here. I don't know why I can't find it. Yeah, it's one. I thought it said 1 capful. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the proper information. And I'm pretty sure a capful is the recommended dose. Let me just, yeah. Do not take more than directed. The bottle top is a measuring cap marked to contain 17 grams of powder when filled to the indicated line. White section in the cap. So this entire white part in there, and that looks like it's probably like 2 tablespoons to me. It's a pretty good amount. So when I first was trying to cure the constipation, I was taking the full cap, and I probably did that for 5 or 6 weeks. Once I got into a more regular place, pun intended, I started to lower my dose. Eventually, I started to just take a teaspoon of it. So I now just put a teaspoon of the Miralax in my coffee every single morning, and I am good to go. I took on vacation. I went to Disney World in April. I took a baggie of my Miralax. I went to the ranch that I go to for 8 days 2 weeks ago. They have a smaller size. I brought that with me, and I make sure that I regularly take my Miralax to keep regular. Now, I saw my doctor yesterday because I was a little concerned about taking this forever, and she said, no, go ahead and take it forever. She said it doesn't actually absorb into your body. It's fine and it's safe. She said it's actually a good thing because it's better to be regular and keep everything moving, especially with these GLP-1 medications. If you let constipation go too long, there is the possibility to get your intestines can become blocked. you can get an actual blockage of the backup of all of the waste that we need to get rid of in our bodies, right? And if that happens, that could require surgery. And I mean, it's just like you would think. The plumbing is backed up and they've got to go up in there and they've got to pull that hard stool from your intestines. And that is not somewhere that we want to be. So it is extremely important. I actually did not realize just how important it was to stay regular and keep everything moving. I mean, we know in our mind how important that is. Like, we have to get rid of the waste in our body. We have to stay regular. But I didn't realize just how important it was. And at this point in my life, I don't even want to get to that point where I'm off a little tiny bit. So if this is what I have to do, then that's what I'm going to have to do. And I say that because I'm filming this on Thursday. Monday was my last dose that I had with me of the Miralax. I was out and I knew I had a doctor's appointment. I thought it was Tuesday. My doctor's appointment was actually Wednesday, which is right near the Walmart, and I was gonna have to go there anyway. So I was like, oh, I'll be fine. And I was gonna wait until Wednesday to go and get the Miralax because I didn't wanna make a separate trip. So Tuesday and Wednesday, I did not take my Miralax. Tuesday, I was okay. Yesterday being Wednesday, it was a little bit more difficult, but not so bad. This morning, I was like, well, it's been 2 days. Let's see, maybe I'm okay now. Maybe this side effect has worked its way out. Haha. So I didn't take it this morning. I felt the need to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, and there I realized that, okay, you need to get back on the Miralax. I was in there for quite some time. It was not a pleasant experience. Things were definitely in the beginning phases of completely backing up at that point. And it took some time and it took some effort on my part. And that's never comfortable. Which brings me to another reason why we don't want to get ourselves into this situation is if we're constantly constipated and pushing and doing all the things that are just nobody really wants to talk about, then we're gonna get other issues. Hemorrhoids are not something that anybody wants. I'm not even gonna go down that route. You can Google it yourself, especially gentlemen who may not have had to experience this in the past. But, that's going to cause other issues besides our system backing up and the possibility of blockages. There's superficial things as well. Hemorrhoids can be really bad, fissures, like all of these other things. Google it yourselves. I think we've talked about a lot already. I think we're pretty close at this point. But sorry, my husband is mowing the lawn. Of course, right outside the window, but I did want to get this video done because I do think it's very important. So we have discussed what to do. I mean, obviously it's up to you. If some people want to try to start out, a little bit more organically, then definitely you can try. They sell these on Amazon. They sell them in the stores. There's lots of types of teas and drinks that you can try. Stool softeners for some might work enough to just soften things up to be able to, go and do what you need to do. Maybe a laxative. Those are all things that I have tried. So this it's called an osmotic laxative, but it's definitely much more gentle than I thought it would be. I have never gotten diarrhea or anything else from that. And like I said, once you get yourself into a good situation, because I'm telling you guys, if you get to the point where you're constipated, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to just go away after a week. It's pretty much here for the duration. At least that's what I have found. I have tried multiple times to come off of the Miralax to no avail, and I've had to end up going back on it. This is not the first time I have tried it. So you can get to a point where you are taking much less of it. I mean, I take literally a teaspoon and I am much better. Some people have tremendous success with magnesium. Take magnesium at night, and that helps for some people. So that might be something that you want to try. It also helps with sleep. So that's definitely, I think I have one magnesium upstairs. Do I have? Oh, I have another one here. So you can try a magnesium supplement at night as well. It might help you with sleeping and with cramping in your legs, as well as the constipation. So somebody asked the question, how long does it last? Again, just like with all the rest of the side effects, I think that depends for everybody. For me, we're going on, I don't know, I want to say 5 months now. This is my third large bottle, and I've done one small bottle. So that's 30, 60, 90. Yeah, I'm at like, I want to say 4 or 5 months of the constipation that I've been dealing with it. It got so bad at one point that I was late to work one day because I could not get out of the bathroom. And another issue that like says constipation is feeling like you've gone to the bathroom, but you still feel like you haven't fully finished everything that needs to happen. That's still constipation. You may have gone, but you still feel like you're not quite done voiding, and that's still an issue. So just make sure that you're listening to your body and that you are taking care of things. So I wish I had a better answer for how long it lasts. I don't. Everybody's different. Mine has not stopped, and I don't anticipate it stopping anytime soon. I've only gone up in dose. So that is probably the biggest downfall of this medication, but I have found a way to control it that's healthy and that works for me. So I am fine with that. After how many days are you considered constipated? I would say 3 would be, I guess everybody is different, but just make sure that you are getting, having bowel movements every 2 to 3 days. And even that, I would still, me personally, if I don't go to the bathroom every day, my body just feels gross. I feel very icky, very full. My stomach starts to not feel good. So for me, it needs to be an everyday situation. Why did GLP1 specifically cause the constipation? And that would have to do with what the breakdown is. So the food is being kept in our digestive system longer when we're on these GLP1s. So the food stays in our digestive system longer to make us feel full longer. Then that needs to be cleaned out on a regular basis, if that makes sense. So just make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do in order to keep yourself healthy, because these medications are amazing, they're life-changing, but we also need to make sure that we're staying healthy overall. Obviously, trying to avoid the constipation in the first place would be key. So I can't guarantee that anything that you do or any suggestions that I have will help that. It might just be the medication. I really don't know. But in the meantime, you could try some things. So try some magnesium. There's many different forms of magnesium on Amazon or at the grocery store. At the pharmacy, like anywhere. There's a lot of different ones. So try a magnesium supplement. It does also work to help sleep, helps with cramping, stuff like that. I've told you bazillion times, not sponsored. Benefiber is something I use. I use gummies and chewables twice a day. Benefiber, getting fiber in your diet. I really didn't realize how important this was before, but getting fiber in your diet. Check with your doctor or a dietitian to see how much fiber you should be getting. I know I definitely don't get enough, and that's probably part of the problem. Try some more green leafy vegetables, adding different fruits into your diet. So fruits, vegetables, supplemental fiber, Raisin Bran, maybe add some Raisin Bran or some bran cereal, or change to a bran-based bread if you're doing like a toast or something like that in the morning. So adding fiber into your diet, and then, as much as I hate it, water, 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 water. We need to stay hydrated. I am currently dehydrated. My doctor really wants me to hydrate more. I am the worst offender of this. So that's just, you know, a few things that you can be doing to try to assist yourself. Staying hydrated, eating some more fruits and vegetables, adding some bran or some additional fiber, magnesium, and maybe some, I mean, there's other, you know, different fiber supplements out there, but maybe adding a fiber supplement in. So I hope that helps. So yeah, I hope that helped a little bit. I know this was not really, you know, the best topic to sit and discuss, but I do feel like it was a necessary topic. So I apologize for the graphic nature of this video, but I do hope that it helped some of you, especially my new friends and viewers who have been suffering with this recently and have been asking a lot of questions. I hope that we were able to bring that information to you successfully. So I think that's going to do it for us today, guys. If you are new here, I would appreciate it if you would go and hit that subscribe button. Like even really does help the channel out. We're growing every day, and that just makes me so happy. I thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day to check in with me. It means the world to me. Thank you guys so much for being here. I will talk to you guys real soon. Remember, my friends, when you can't find the sunshine, you go out and you be the sunshine.